Hi guys, today we're going to be harvesting our jalapenos and making cowboy candy, otherwise known as candied jalapenos. Now, typically I like to do this towards the end of the season when the plants are pushing out their final flush of fruit, but this year the jalapeno plants have been so prolific and so productive. They are loaded up right now. I've got 5 plants behind me and I'm so impressed with how they're doing. Now, I've tried preserving jalapenos before by freezing them. The problem is that when I go to thaw them, they become all watery and mushy. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but if any of you guys have any comments or tips on how to properly freeze and thaw jalapenos to use, please let me know in the comment section. Now, for those of you who have never tried cowboy candy, it is so delicious. It's the perfect combination between sweet and heat. And I put it on everything. I put it on tuna fish sandwiches, hamburgers, hot dogs, or chicken sausages. I don't eat hot dogs. And cheese and crackers, anything. I've actually just had it as a side dish or like an accompaniment to dinner because it's just that good. And it's so simple to make. Now, I've tried a couple of different recipes over the last couple years, and I landed on the one that Garden Answer used. It's from Patricia Barwick, and it's a very simple, straightforward recipe, very easy to follow, and it makes the most delicious cowboy candy. So the recipe calls for 3 pounds of jalapenos. I've got my harvest basket right here, and I think we're definitely gonna have at least 3 pounds of jalapenos from these plants. All right, I'm going to undo this netting so we can get to our jalapenos. So I've got 4 plants right here and 1 in the corner back there, and these plants are just loaded up, you guys. Look how much fruit is on this one plant, and they're all like that. So I'm fairly confident that we're gonna get at least 3 pounds of jalapenos. And 3 pounds typically yields about 4 to 5 half-pint jars. So I'm gonna get all of these peppers harvested. We'll take them inside, get them weighed, and get to work. All right, guys, this is from one plant. Isn't that awesome? We got 135 peppers. I think that's more than enough. All right, let's go inside and get started. All right, guys, here is our setup. I've got our canning pot on the stove. I'm sanitizing some jars. We've got our pot to mix up the cowboy candy and all of our ingredients. Here is the recipe. So it calls for 3 pounds of fresh jalapenos, 2 cups apple cider, 6 cups of sugar, 2 teaspoons garlic powder, half a teaspoon of turmeric, and a half a teaspoon of celery seed. So we've got all of that over here. We've got our canning equipment here. So all I'm gonna do is just follow the instructions one by one. I will hover over this real quick so you guys can take a snapshot of it, and I will type it up in the description box too. So first we want to get a weight on our jalapenos, then we'll rinse them off and slice them into 1/4-inch slices. Perfect 3 pounds. Let's see how much more we have left. So technically we could make a little more than a batch and a half. Now let's just rinse them off. And I think our jars are done. I put a few more jars in to sanitize while we're slicing our peppers, 1/4 inch thick, and I've got a pair of nitrile gloves. You want to make sure when you're slicing spicy peppers to always wear gloves because you don't want to accidentally itch your eye and then you end up with pepper in your eye. I like to add some of the red ones in too because it makes it look really pretty and colorful. These look so beautiful. Now that we've got all of our pepper sliced, we can move on to the next step. So in a large pot, we want to add our apple cider vinegar, sugar, garlic powder, turmeric, and celery seed. We want to bring it to a boil, reduce it to medium-low, simmer for 5 minutes, and then we can raise it back to medium-high. Once it's boiling, we can add our pepper slices back in, bring it up to a boil, and reduce the heat again to medium-low and simmer for an additional 4 minutes before we transfer the peppers into our sterilized canning jars. Then we will take the liquid that's left in the pot, bring it back to a boil, and boil that for 6 more minutes until it thickens up, and then we'll ladle that into the jars. Okay, it's been simmering for 5 minutes, so now we're going to turn the heat up to medium-high, bring it back up to a boil, add our peppers, bring it back to a boil again, and then reduce it back to medium-low and let the peppers simmer for 4 minutes before we transfer them into the jars. Alright guys, we got 4 half-pint jars filled with peppers. I left about a 1/4 inch of headspace from the top. I've got the remaining liquid back on the stove. We're going to bring it back to a boil it for 6 minutes so it thickens up a little bit. Then we'll take it off the heat and we'll ladle the syrup into the jars until we have a 1/4 inch of headspace. Then we'll get the lids on them, get them in the canning pot, process them for 10 minutes, and then take them out. All right, guys, the second batch is processing in the water bath. We've got 10 minutes. I want to take you upstairs into the grow room and give you an update on our fall seedlings. Okay, so here are our seedlings, and they have all germinated. Don't they look good? So we've got our Paris Island romaine lettuce here, our Bib lettuce here, baby spinach, our cabbage, cauliflower, and I seeded some cantaloupe because I want to do a late planting and see if I can get some melons. But I think they look really good. And here's our succulents over here in desperate need of some grooming. I've got some Haworthia that I was propagating. Look at this. This needs to be repotted. This has got some babies coming off of it, along with this one. And look at our string of pearls. So the main plant is here. We've trimmed it back, but it's been struggling. But I took a couple cuttings and put them in this little tiny terracotta pot a few months ago, and now look at them. Look how long they are. It's beautiful. And of course, I had a couple African violets that died. But yeah, that's it. One tray on this whole grow light system. But I'm really happy about these. These are looking really, really good. I'm still waiting for them to develop their first set of true leaves before I come in and start fertilizing at half strength. But all in all, I'm really happy with them. And not for nothing, but this grow room could use a serious clean and organize. I mean, I've just got things all over the place. Seed packets, old terracotta pots, containers, more terracotta pots over there. Seed starting mix just needs a good clean and organize. But this is what I mean. I'm only using one of the 3 tiers from our grow light system for now. But some of these houseplants too, we're gonna have to come in here and take care of some of these because they've really, really grown and they're in desperate need of attention and repotting. And we'll do that together in the very near future. They are in desperate need of some grooming. But you know, this time of year, it's just so crazy outside. But I do need to give the house plants some attention. So yeah. Did you hear it pop? All right, guys, we ended up with 7 half-pint jars and 1 1/4 pint. I'm still waiting for this one, this seal to pop. Oh, it just popped. Oh, that is such a great sound. So all 8 of these have sealed, and the leftover candy syrup, I always just pour it into another mason jar. I don't process it in the water bath, but I do drizzle it over crackers and cheese or burgers, anything. It's basically the same thing as this without the actual peppers, but this is just as delicious. Once this cools, I'm just gonna screw a plastic lid on it and put it in the refrigerator. The rest of these will go in the pantry, and then as we use them and open them, we'll put them in the refrigerator as well. All right, guys, we're outside on the kitchen porch. I wanted to bring you out here and show you what the candied jalapenos look like in the jars. I know it's a little dark in the kitchen sometimes, so coming out here into the natural light, you can get a better look at it. Doesn't this look absolutely beautiful? This is one of the half-pint jars that we processed from the first batch, and oh my gosh, you guys, look at it. It's so beautiful. The lid did pop, so it has sealed. So this actually can sit in the pantry for upwards of a year. Last year when I made these, I had them sitting in the pantry for almost close to a year, and we were still using them. They lasted that long. Now, once you open them, you do have to put them in the refrigerator, but these definitely have a shelf life to them. Once they completely cool, I'll give them another little quick wipe down and get them in the pantry. But don't they look great? And you can see the red jalapenos in there. That's why I like using the red ones too. It gives a little pop of color. I can't believe we harvested 135 jalapenos this morning, processed them and turned them into candied jalapenos, and we still have a few months left in the growing season, so I'm sure those plants are going to pump out more fruits. So we could be doing this all over again at the end of the season, and I am totally okay with that, because I'm telling you guys, if you've never tried this, give it a try. It is so delicious, and you will be putting it on everything. And you guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.